Okay, so most of us we are aware of the fact that the Premier League season is scheduled to get underway very soon in a matter of a couple of days, man. So the Premier League season will be restarting, right? It will actually be starting for the 2024-2025 season will actually be underway from Friday, the 16th of August 2024. And I'm certainly looking forward to it. So as you. So as you. You definitely are looking forward to it. And yeah, the game that actually will get us underway is between Manchester United and Fulham. We do remember the last time what happened between these two sides when they met at Old Trafford last season, and it was actually a shock defeat for the Red Devils. Alex Iwobi actually getting the winning goal. So perhaps Manchester United fans will be actually hoping for a change, a contrasting, view of fortune this particular time around. But hey, this is Premier League, anything can happen. But look, if you're a Manchester United fan, I'm sure considering the signings, considering the fact that there's new ownership, right? You should be having a sense of optimism that maybe this could be a great season for y'all, right? And I wouldn't blame y'all because yes, Manchester United, they will get the new Premier League season underway on Friday and they will be welcoming Fulham, the Cottagers to Old Trafford. So look, we all know that, that the Reds, they've already returned to competitive action. And remember, we saw them, they were in action in the FA Community Shield. And they narrowly missed out on silverware at Wembley. Following that 1-1 draw, then they had to go to a lottery of penalty shootouts. And then eventually we all know what happened. The blue half of Manchester actually, won on the shootouts. They actually emerged victorious. But look, it is, the season's traditional curtain raiser. And Friday's game against the Cottagers, presents a quick opportunity to actually build on that, encouraging performance and actually start the league season in the best possible manner. So, look, Manchester United, over the years, they haven't really been performing according to the standards that we know, that we actually were used to, And with the fact that they signed, Lenny Yoro, he will unfortunately be sidelined, for the beginning of the domestic campaign after he sustained a foot injury in the preseason game against Arsenal in Los Angeles. And he later underwent surgery and is expected to actually make a return in around 3 months. Whereas, Tyrell Malacia is also absent. He's also a notable absentee, and he's still stepping up to full match fitness following his recovery from a long-term issue. And then Rasmus Højlund was absent for their clash in the capital against the Blues after he had suffered a hamstring injury in that same Arsenal warm-up fixture, across the pond, and he's actually expected to miss, the Friday season opener against Fulham. Whereas, Luke Shaw as well as Victor Lindelof, they both missed out on the derby at Wembley Stadium. But according to further updates, they could arrive very soon from Ten Hag in his press conference on Thursday, prior to kickoff, right? As well as on Fulham actually looked to be heading to Old Trafford with a clean bill of health, to actually kick their campaign off. But similarly, more detail could arrive from the manager, Marco Silva, in his, media briefing. So look, in my opinion, I would say I'll go for a Manchester United victory. Manchester United will emerge victorious by 3-1. And looking at Fulham, they had a relatively stable season, and which saw them finishing, in 13th place, in the 2023-2024 season, right? And Silva, he actually kicks off his 4th season in charge of the club in Friday's bout at the Theatre of Dreams, as he actually looks to improve on a consecutive mid-table finishes since gaining promotion from the Championship in 2022. The two clubs swapped away victories last season, as Bruno Fernandes's last-minute strike at Craven Cottage actually earned Manchester United 3 points, as Fulham avenged later in the season by Alex Iwobi's own stoppage time winner, remember. And it was actually the first time that the Cottagers have actually beaten Manchester United in a league game at Old Trafford since 2003. So that was like basically more than 22 decades, right? And so Ten Hag's side will actually go into this clash, looking to reassert their home dominance over the Londoners, okay? And again, looking at the summer signings that they actually made, despite the fact that the domestic season getting underway this weekend, clubs are still, able to buy as well as sell players up until the 30th of August, because that's the deadline. That's the transfer deadline. But both clubs have actually already been active in the market. The Reds, of course, welcomed the defender Euro to the club, with the French defender joining from Lille last month. He impressed in his preseason outings in the red shirt, but sadly, as mentioned, earlier on, he actually suffered a foot injury that will actually see him miss the first part of the term. And we've also seen the arrival of Joshua Zirkzee, from the Italian outfit Bologna. Remember the Dutchman? He did impress last term. He made a great impression, coached by Thiago Motta, who has since moved on to Juventus. And he picked up 11 goals and he got 5 assists in the Serie A before agreeing, to his exciting switch to Manchester. And it was actually expected for him to actually move to AC Milan, but I'm really not too sure about what happened in that particular deal, or because it's according to close sources, apparently the deal fell through because AC Milan didn't meet the buyout clause, and they were actually like stalling, right? Because it was actually likely, there was that likelihood that he was supposed to move to the San Siro, but now we all became very surprised when he made the sudden switch to Manchester. And he was actually on the bench for the Community Shield clash with City, but he's still awaiting a debut, and the game against Fulham could actually afford him his first opportunity to represent the Reds. Whereas, Manchester United's opponents have also gotten quite busy selling transfer business over the summer break. They've acquired the services of the former Arsenal midfielder, Emil Smith-Rowe, as well as they've also added defenders Ryan Sessegnon as well as George, Coenza to their ranks from Tottenham as well as Villarreal respectively. So, those are actually some of the signings, the notable signings that we've seen both clubs actually make. So, look, it's actually going to be a great game of football. I'm 100% sure that it will be a great game of football, and, definitely Manchester United is going to win. Trust me, they will. Yeah, like I said, Manchester United will win, definitely. And what are your guys' predictions? I'm sure Manchester United fans at home, definitely you guys are rooting for your team. You definitely are rooting for your team. But look, that's beyond the point. I think Manchester United this season, they will actually do better than they did last season, right? It's just a matter of, how are the new recruits going to be able to fit into that United team, and how Ten Hag will be able to build, a solid structure. You get what I'm saying? Because now, look, Ten Hag has actually had a great record. I mean, 2 trophies in the space of 2 seasons, which is really not bad considering the fact that Manchester United went for 6 years not winning silverware before he came into the dugout. And, if we are to refresh our minds and look at the stats between Manchester United and Fulham. Remember, Manchester United have only lost 4 of their, 34 Premier League meetings against Fulham, right? But one of those came in their most recent encounter in February, with the Cottagers winning by 2-1 at Old Trafford, as mentioned earlier on. And following their Premier League victory at Old Trafford last season, Fulham are actually looking to win consecutive away league visits to Manchester United for the first time in their history. They faced them at Old Trafford in their opening league match 3 times previously, losing all 3. Okay, and for the 10th time in the last 11 seasons, Manchester United will begin their Premier League campaign with a home game, including now their last 8 seasons in a row. They are basically also, if we were to actually take note of the fact that Manchester United, as far as I'm concerned, right, they're actually the first Premier League side in history to actually start a season with a home game in 8 seasons consecutively. I'm not sure if that is really an interesting stat towards you guys, if that's an interesting statistic, but I guess we gotta mention that one as well. And the fact is, Fulham have only lost their opening Premier League match in 2 of their last 9 seasons at this particular level. Keeping 6 clean sheets across these 9 games. And whereas Manchester United have lost their last 2 Premier League home games against sides from London, with Fulham actually winning 2-1 in February, as well as Arsenal winning, 1-0 in May. That was the time where we saw all that drama. Old Trafford is falling down, Ten Hag is a fucking clown. I'm going to play that clip. We're going to see that clip very soon. We will play that clip very soon. And again, what should also be noted, right, is that London clubs have haven't won 3 consecutive league visits to Old Trafford since a run of like 5 between, December 1985 as well as September 1986. So Fulham won 2 of their of their final 3 Premier League away games last season, as many as they managed in their first 16 on the road. So we're looking at the new Fulham recruit, right? Emil Smith-Rowe. He scored on his previous, Premier League start against Manchester United at Old Trafford, which was that 3-2 defeat when he was still, donning the colours of the Gunners in December 2021. And only 3 players have scored away against the Red Devils with 2 different London clubs in the Premier League. We talk about Darren Bent, we talk about Emmanuel Adebayo, and Frank Lampard. Yeah. And remember, Marco Silva is unbeaten in his last 9 match day 1 league matches as manager, encompassing games with Estoril, Sporting Lisbon, Olympiacos, Watford, Everton, as well as his current club Fulham, and with his last such defeat coming in the Premier Liga with Estoril in the 2012-2013 season. So, great record. But records can always be broken. Records can be extended. We'll see that. We'll definitely see that at Old Trafford. Let's wait for it. Please comment your predictions down in the comment section at who's going to win, who's going to take all 3 points between Manchester United as well as Fulham on Friday the 16th of August. We'll see you there. Cheers.